Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining me here today. I really hope that you've got better weather wherever you are than we have here. It's to say that it's wet is a bit of an understatement. It's like goes halfway between being really nicely illuminated and then my lights don't work in the studio because I've not got blackout curtains, to being really, really dark and it keeps on kind of flicking backwards and forwards. So today we've got an hour's coding. I'm back again. This is my bi-weekly, and bi-weekly I don't mean twice a week. I mean once every 2 weeks. Stream that I'm doing, and we're looking at Blazor Hybrid and combining that with a Blazor WebAssembly app. We started 2 weeks ago, made an application that kind of works. We share some things between it, and today I want to kind of get 2 things done. I want to, first of all, try and do a bit more cleanup. So although there's stuff shared between the two, there's still a lot of duplication, and I want to see whether or not we can remove that. Secondly, I want to see whether or not we can add authentication to the Maui application. Now, last week I started and I did this completely off the cuff. I didn't really have anything prepared. It was just, okay, fire at the project, see if we can get it working. I have prepared for this stream. It is still going to go badly. I got to admit, authentication is incredibly important. It's not really my thing. And whilst some code is really easy to work with, yeah, this seems to be a little bit different. So off screen, I actually have a working demo. And what I'm going to do is try and remember the steps I did to get that working and bring it across, make things work. It's going to be less off the cuff coding this time, and it's probably going to be much more. Let's have a look at what we need to do, and let's have a look at what this code does. And also, I'm going to show you where I fell down and where things didn't really work. And what I need to do more for the future. So we've got a comment from Twitch. It's not going to be homegrown JWT stuff. What we're going to be looking at actually is using the Auth0 Nugget package in order to get this working. For the test client, I'm going to be running that inside of an Azure Static Web App. So for that one, I'm just going to be using standard Azure Static Web App authentication to get that one working. I apologize. My brain fog is really hitting me today more than it has done in a few days. I'm a little bit tired, so have to see how well this works. So no, it's not homegrown stuff. It's proper official support from Auth0. Think I'm using it right. I'm quite happy to be corrected when we get going. But like I said, with any luck, in sometime in the next 55 minutes, we're going to get working authentication. But to start off with, let's have a look at where we actually got to last week. Let's get my code up here. I've got my screen set to 225% DPI. If it's unreadable, please let me know and I'll happily change that so it's more readable online. Last week, we created a Blazor test application with an awesome naming convention of Blazor test. I'm going to change this as well. I've had an idea for this. And we had a working WebAssembly application. We have a working Maui Blazor Hybrid application. And then we just have an API that we're getting data from. So let's just get that one working now. This is going to be the Blazor web application that we're going to start with. And once that's up, I'm going to need a new PowerShell window here to make that work. Yes, 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 just allow everything. I don't know why it always opens on the wrong window. But here's my Blazor application. And if we go to weather, it's going to crash on us. And it's going to crash on us because of cause. So what we're going to do instead is Bring across. Wow, look how big that gets when you drag it from a 4K screen to a less than full HD. Come on, you can do this. Oh, I hate this. Maybe I need to start making both of my screens tiny so that it works. 2 seconds. Boop. That looks nice and small. Oh well, ish. Right. So what we're going to do is we're going to fire up the static web app CLI. So we want static web app start, and I want to run. Where is my... Okay. So I want to grab my HTTP. So we're going to do HTTP 5213. And then I also need to say, hey, when you get a request for an API, I want you to go to this port number, which is where my Azure function is running. So now if we run this, just a very quick recap over what we did last week. We have a running emulator. And now if we go to localhost 4280, we should get our Blazor application. And when we go to weather, we get our weather. So that's how we're getting the API working for the WebAssembly application. But then with the same code, we also wanted to make a MAUI application. So this is, I'm running it on a Windows machine right now because it's quicker. I can run it on an Android machine under emulation, but that takes some time to set up. We'll do that one next stream, okay? And now you can see we have the same application, only now it's being rendered natively inside of a MAUI application using our Blazor code to make a Windows app. And if we go to weather, we can see that hopefully it's going to go... You know why this died, don't you? This died because I didn't start the API. Let's start an instance of that as well. And let's see whether or not we can do this again, or is that now totally dead? Yeah, let's do this properly. Let's start this up first. So start a new instance here. Hey, Jess, you made it. You got back in time. Awesome to see you again. Always nice. Oh, why are you not working? Something's still running in the background, isn't it? Shall we try and see if we can kill stuff? Let's just kill all of our PowerShell apps and see whether or not that works. There we go. Still on the wrong window, so you can't see it yet, but we'll get there. And then we have to resize it. Seriously, I'm going to change it next time so that all my screens are set to the same resolution, because this is an absolute nightmare. And for the MAUI experts out there, how do I tell it to start not in this massive, massive screen resolution? There. Right, so we're going to fire off our weather API here. So we're going to debug a new instance. And then when we come back to our app, now when I go to the weather app, we get our weather. So there we go. Website and application using the same code. That's kind of what I wanted to get going. We can stop everything now. So today what I want to do is move some more of the shared dependencies so that everything is running in the same place. So if we look in our MAUI and our Blazor test client, we have our main layout page, our menu page. We have, not that one. I guess that's it. It's those two, I guess. Because we have the same here, and you can see they look very similar inside of the MAUI app. And what I want to do is move those to the shared folder as well, and make sure that we can pick them up from there. Excuse me, I got a laptop next to me that just started flashing at me. Let's get that turned off. So in theory, this should be as simple as copying this over and deleting it from everything. So shall we try that? You know, before we try that, you may notice I don't have this inside of a Git repo because I just kicked this off as a test project. It needs to be in my GitHub. It's not yet. I think what we're going to do before we start is fix that problem. So let's have a look at our... This is our folder. Let's just do Git init. Add everything. Why did that die? Git .NET new git ignore. Is that right? Yep, that's better. That's a wonderful command, by the way. I don't know if you know that or not, but on the .NET command line, you can actually make a Visual Studio git ignore and make that one work for us. So here we have our thing now. Let's just commit this. And init commit. There we go. Everything's committed now. I just wanted to do that because I know I am going to break this today. And I'd like to be able to go back really easily if I need to. Come on, you should really pick up the fact that this is now inside of a repository. Why aren't you? Oh, we'll come back to that in a second. Let's have a look at the chat room a second. We have Tyndall. Hello. Awesome to see you. I'm going to make one of your evening streams at some point. I'm going to be awake enough. I'm starting to get a little bit better. So let's see whether or not we get there now. And I have 3 folders in my dev drive: remote, remote private, and local. All play around stuff sends in local. Yeah, it's I'm trying to figure out the way to store my stuff properly. My biggest issue is I put stuff in temp and then it stops being temp, like this one. So I need to come up with a better convention. What I have so far is my remotes. So they're all nicely separated from my speaker repositories, my play repositories, my work repositories, and my work playground repositories. They don't generally mix up, so I can do that. I mentioned this on, I think it was Twitter the other day with Jeff Fritz, and saying, you know, that doesn't work for him because his remotes are a lot more complex than mine are. But yeah, it kind of works for me. And we have cool. So you didn't know about the .NET New? It is so useful. I'm trying to remember where I learned it from, but once I saw it, it was kind of a light bulb moment. It now makes it so easy just to create these things rather than having to search online for a Visual Studio git ignore if you don't do it in GitHub when you create your application. So much better. And you have your dev drive. Help me where to put stuff, because yeah, different drives, different folders. It's all over the place. I know the feeling well. I try not to use temp anymore. I used to use it a lot, and now I really try and make sure it's literally just for stuff I'm going to throw away instantly. So after the stream today, I am going to move this into GitHub. But what I really love about it, all of my documents are on OneDrive. All of my code is on GitHub. I have literally nothing on my machine that I can't recreate anymore. The only one that's bad is my save files for my games, which I'm sure I'll find out a way to get into the cloud at some point as well. But by having everything online like that, I had it last night. I had to reinstall one of my machines, and rather than 3 days of stressing if I got everything safe on my machine, I just killed the machine and reinstalled it, because I know that everything that I need is either in GitHub or it's in the cloud somewhere else. It just makes life so much less stressful. Yeah, local is test and throw away. Absolutely. The second it starts to become serious, you move it out of there and you make sure that it's safe. And that's a bit that I generally forget to do, a la what we've got here right now. And what's it? Created a test project and D and only D. Yeah, I can go with that one. I've been there. I've been there in the middle of a tech demo. It's let's just create this app. Oh, the folder exists. Let's try and think of a different name for it then. Right. I think I am going to reload this project to make sure that I have got the Git folder in the right place. Because yes, I want to make sure I don't kill this because I'm about to start really playing around with it. There we go. We have little check marks. That sinking feeling of unpushed commits strewn between machines. That's the downside. That is absolutely the downside. What I try and make sure is really when I finish working on a machine, I try and make sure I push it between. Otherwise, it is an absolute nightmare to get that sorted. I've been bitten too many times, but I'm getting better at it. I think, honest, maybe. Who knows? All right, let's get some stuff moving then, shall we? So I'm just going to do the easiest possible thing to start with. I'm just going to copy that to here. So we now have the layout pages here. Then I'm going to delete these. See, this is why I love having everything inside of Git, because I just don't care. I can come in here. I can delete my layout. Now, this is going to kill some things because my namespaces are going to change. So let's see what dies when we build, shall we? Yeah, that's what I was expecting. That's fine. We'll fix that one in a second. Yep. My current branch has like 5 whip moving workstation commits. Yeah, absolutely. Put them in there just to make sure. It's as soon as I finish working, I try and push something like that up. The only time when I don't do that is when I'm working on my website, because as soon as I push it, it gets pushed to production. So then I have to make a branch for it and make sure that that's working. And yes, indeed, we are doing the Azure function auth. No, I'm not going to do that one yet because I have not figured that one out. That one will be later. The reason why I've not figured it out is because I am doing both our static web app and a malware Blazor application. And I think I'm gonna have to change that, because when you do authentication in a static web app, it has to be done in a particular way. So I have just done a cheat for now to bypass the cause issue, and I'm gonna have to work a different way and get that one sorted out later. So today I'm just focusing on the front end. I'm gonna focus on the auth for the Azure function next time, hopefully. And don't I have a dev release branch? No, absolutely not. I actually really don't have a dev release branch. Trim-based development. If I've got something that needs to live longer than a single push to main, I will put it into a branch that I try and kill as absolutely fast as possible. And then that will get deployed to production. Because I'm using a static web app, if I put it into a pull request to go from a branch to my main, I'll automatically get a staging environment that I can practice that in. So yeah, that one, I try to avoid branches where possible, So I've got to admit, a lot of the stuff I do on my website, I will just push straight to production because I know it's not going to kill anything. Something that's going to take longer or something I'm really not sure about, like every time I update the Blazor version, always to a branch and always check it before I go further. Wrong about function auth. What am I wrong about function auth? I don't mind being wrong about function auth. It's I've only ever done it with static web apps, so I've never actually played with it properly. So that's kind of what my next 2 weeks are going to be before the next thing. Oh, you, not me. It's all learning. That's why we do it. It's that's why last week I tried to do this completely off the cuff. It wasn't practiced and I wasn't 100% sure how well it was going to go because I wanted to see how much it died. I've only prepared for this week's because, yeah, I know that it's going to be bad. Okay, so we don't have client layout anymore. That's fine. Which imports is this? So this one should, though, have Blazor test dot shared. Does that cure an amount of things for us? Ooh. Layout, main layout. That's in the Maui app, I assume. Yeah. So, we need to do the same here. At using Blazor test dot shared dot layout. And we have one more. Where is this? Well, that's interesting. Roots.razor in Maui. Why are you not picking up that layout? Oh, because now it's coming directly from there. So if we do that, does that make it work any better? Oh, 0 errors. I like 0 errors. Fingers crossed. Is it that easy? Just update 2 files and it works. Almost right. Entirely wrong, but almost right. It's close enough. Hey, the build succeeded. Shall we see whether or not this still works? Let's start the... I'm not going to start the API for this one because I don't need the API. I just want to check that I get a layout that looks about correct. And I can tell you that it's worked. Spoiler alert. I can also tell you that I'm going to scream at opening this up on the wrong page in a second. So we still have our stuff here. That's awesome. So our Maui application's working. And then if we go to our... Oh, what's happened to my multiple startup projects? Okay, let's go back to the multiple startup projects then, shall we? Start the client and start the weather API. Apply. Okay. So let's start that. What's the chances I closed the SWA CLI to make it work? Oh, that didn't work too well. I don't need the API. That didn't work too well. Oh dear. Shall we see what went wrong there? Oh, we have an app, absolutely. Yes, good old VC++ had one big advantage over .NET Compiler. All the errors were in order. You fixed row 1 in your error list, and that had solved that one and possibly a few more. Absolutely. F12. That would have been a really good idea, wouldn't it? That would have been a better idea than I just did. Instead, what I want to do is have a look at my app.razor. No, we're showing main layout. Still have our W. Okay, let's go for this F12 and see what happens. Well, that's interesting. I wasn't expecting any signal R. This is Blazor WASM. No CSS requested. There's no CSS requested, but we've also not got the menu on the side. We do have the About button. So the top menu is being loaded, but the navigation menu isn't being loaded. I want to get the nav menu loaded first, and then we'll see what happens after that. So why isn't that one there? It knows that there's a nav menu. This works in Maui. Why are we not loading here? Oh, this is weird. The nav menu is all of the different navigation icons. So if we go back to the Maui app, let's show you. Helps if you click start, doesn't it? Yeah, it's entirely stock. So we just have this that it should be. So we're missing all of this for some reason. And we're missing, like you say, we're not getting any CSS. Why? Why are you doing that? And there's text here, so I would expect at least to see some kind of links. Nope. Nope. We've got absolutely. We have our app, our page. Oh, nav. What the beep? They are there indeed. but it thinks, oh, look at that. It's totally the CSS. Hats off, Tyndall. Isn't it nice when you have an invisible button on the screen? We'll just click and see what happens. Okay, so it's not picking up any of the CSS, which should be coming, I imagine, from here and here. Because this one, I believe that one does the whole scrollable, not scrollable. Or is it this one that does the scrollable, not scrollable? But either way, that's all taken care of inside of... Oh. I'm with you. Who needs CSS? I'm going to clean this and I'm going to rebuild it. I'm going to hope that I just confused it enough. Nope. Well, that's freaky. So what have we checked? We've not changed anything. Frame sets for the win. I could move that into the root, but I'm not sure that's the problem. The reason why I say that is because the Maui app also has its own WW root. And I think that's a good thing to keep that separate. The main layout and the nav menu, they have their own isolated CSS. So that's why I was kind of hoping that they would stay together. What time are we on? Wow, we're on 1:30 already. You know what? I am going to live with this being broken. I'm going to try and figure it out over the next couple of weeks. Because our Maui app works, and that's what I wanted to concentrate on today. And I'm just going to sit and scream at it with the microphone turned off and figure it out. Because that's just annoying me. Like the fact that I've just said, hey, we're going to leave it. I'm going to fix it off screen and then immediately just want to fix it straight away again because it's annoying me. I have no idea. Oh, well, we'll find out. Right, let's close all of this and let's look at what we need to do in order to add some authentication to our Maui app. I'm using Auth0 for this. So can I show up Auth0 without doxing myself? That's always a fun one. Last thing I want to do is dox myself. Yes, continue, remember this. Okay, let's log into Auth0. I'm doing this off screen so I don't accidentally show any passwords or anything. Right, I think that's safe. That's safe. So I have my Auth0 and I have a few test apps here. And what I want to use is this Maui app test thing that I've got to the side. Now I need to get some secrets out from inside of this. So I'm going to drag this off screen again. And then we can carry on with our building. So that's number one. Number two, we need to add some fun stuff to our app. So the way that I did this was I've been playing with it off screen, and I have a working application which should be good for us, hopefully. I need to add some Nugget packages, and I'm just going to get the list from my others. Oh, I need to add one Nugget package. Awesome. So the Nugget package we're going to add to Maui is, it's a Nugget package, Stacy. Get your brain in order. So we're going to add the Nugget package that we need. That's going to add a load of other stuff that we're not going to bother reading before we install, because why would we? And then it's one of those things. It's not actually that difficult until it is. So we need to add authorization, and this is going to be a copy paste thing from my other project because I can't remember this off the top of my head. So just before our builder.build, we're going to add some authentication here. So we're going to add authorization core, which we need to get this one working. We are going to add a new Auth0 client that comes out of that Nugget package that we were just playing with. And then we need to give it the domain, the client ID. That's the one that we just saw in Maui, I believe, and I hope. Yep. Then we need to have a couple of callbacks. Now, if you're building a website, this is going to be the pages that you come back to. No, you're not alone in calling it nuggets. It's a nugget package. I'm guessing then officially we should really be calling it NuGet or something like that. But no, it's a nugget. It's a little nugget of code that we get to use inside of our application. Yeah, it is a NuGet. Yeah, it is a new. It's a NuGet repository, but yeah, it's nuggets. No, you made perfect sense. That makes absolute sense to me. I can read that, and it works, and it works with how I talk about things. That's fine. Okay, so we have our callback. I say it's when adding this to the Blazor application. This would be your login, your logout, and post login pages that you need to set up, which we're going to get to later. Because first of all, I'm just going to cheat a new static web app authentication for this, because it's built in out of the box and it's really simple. And I like to keep stuff simple if I can. And then we want the scopes that we want out of our application, out of our authentication. Then in order to make authentication work inside of Blazor, we need an authentication state provider. And you can see here, I'm telling it to use an Auth0 state provider, only I'm not actually providing one. So that's a nice next step. Let's add some security here. So new folder, security. And then let's add a awesome trick from Jimmy Engstrom that I learned, by the way. Rather than right-clicking and adding and right-clicking adding, if you do Shift F2, then you can add a new item here. You can even do full folder level things. So you can do folder file, and it will create that for you. It will create the two folders in the file. At least I think it will create two folders. I never tried with 2 layers deep, only one. But it works. And we want this to be Auth0 state provider. I want to make this a file scope namespace because I think it's neater, and let's get rid of everything we don't need. Now this needs to be an authentication state provider. And then we need to... Did I not install all the NuGet packages that I need? I guess I didn't, did I? So let's find and install that one. Thank you. That one's still going to die because we need to implement the abstract class. I said we need to implement the abstract class. So when you make an authentication state provider, this is the part of it that deals with all our authentication. Are we logged in? Are we not logged in? That kind of thing. And for auth0, we need to do some other interesting bits. So let's see where I put this. The other reason why I'm not going to show you it in the app where I was playing about in is because I was asleep when I was organizing it and stuff is absolutely in the wrong place. So we need an auth0 client here. So what we're going to do is add a constructor. Auth0 state provider. Should really be internal, but whatever. Oh, look at that. Thank you, GitHub Copilot. Well, almost, yeah, it kind of did it, didn't it? Okay, so we have a read-only field for that. Total chaos, absolute chaos. Chaos is king. And to the point where you want to find something, and then it's kind of less good. And then the authentication state is really simple here, because all we have to do is get our current user, which we're going to sort out in a second. You go bonkers whenever something says this. What is the this to which you refer there? Oh, this. Oh, yeah, absolutely. 100%. I hate having this everywhere. Oh, I see you. Okay, I just went so with what the editor was doing. I missed that. And indeed, I know that you're not supposed to do it this way anymore with lots of people, but I actually think it's easier to read this way. Get rid of the thises. Is that better, Tundle? Do you feel happier now? Can you breathe again? And thank you, because I completely missed that. So all we're going to do is just get an authentication state from our current user. Now, this isn't using the auth0 client yet, because what we're going to do is use those for a couple of login and logout tasks instead. So I'm going to bring those over one at a time, and we're going to look at them in. I'm glad it makes your OCD much happier. If it wasn't for the fact I wasn't concentrating and had completely missed it, I would be with you. I don't like having this. So what we're going to do here is we are going to give it a login function. And that login function is what's going to figure out whether or not we have a current user. And it's also going to set up our current user, call auth0, that kind of stuff. We can see that we need a login with auth0 async here. So here we have our auth0 client. And we just call login.async. And this is why I wanted to use auth0, because it makes life just a little bit easier for us to get this working. It was a bit evil otherwise. And then we need a logout. And again, we need auth0 client. It's going to log us out. We're going to set our current user, which we've not set up yet, to be a claims principal with a new claims identity, which is going to mean you're not logged in because it's empty. And then we're going to call this notifying state change so that our application updates. Last thing that we need to do to actually get this to compile is to actually add our current user. Now, I could type this out, but why would I when I can copy paste? So our current user is always going to be this claims identity. So when we call get authentication state async, when we're trying to see if we're logged in, it's going to use this current user. And this current user is going to be set to whatever we get back from login with auth0. Or it's going to be reset when we call logout. That's not going to compile, is it? Because I need to do some stuff here. Let's add a couple of usings. And get that started. The other one that we need to do is add a authorization using to our imports. Let's put that in the right place. We're going to be using that one in a second if the build succeeded, and it did. So that's our program sorted. That's our authentication state sorted. We have it in our imports razor, and let's have a look back at the chat. Watching Code Rushed, and he also had a class variable called save prompt. Saved prompt. My brain was screaming at me. That's always the fun watching somebody else code, isn't it? And you can't fix stuff. It's always having to watch what they're doing. Right, where are we? I completely lost it. Brain fog. I'll get there. I'll get there eventually. Right, we were going to fix our roots.razor. Because in order to use authentication, we need to tell our app that we have authentication. So here we're going to add a cascading authentication state. We're going to try not to destroy the code on the way. Now we can use an authentication state inside of our app. We're getting there. We're getting there. And the last thing I want to do is add a login control. So for that one, again, I'm going to bring code over for this one because I fought this for long enough. Inside of components, I'm going to add a new Razor component and call that login.razor. And this one does need to be inside of our Maui app. I've not yet decided how I'm gonna. Thank you. I am gonna need that from time to time. It's improving, but I'm still gonna need that from time to time. So we're gonna need this specifically for auth0. I'm going to make this so that we can inject it and move this to shared at some point. But for today, looking at the time, this seems to be a good way of doing it. We're going to have an authorized view. So if we're authorized, it's going to say, hello, identity name. And if we're not authorized, it's going to say, oh, you can log in here. And then what this is going to do is we're going to have a state provider passed in, which remember, for this application, is going to be an auth0 state provider. And then when we log in or log out, we're just going to call these things. Then this one, I want to put, where do I want to put this? Where do I use this? Ah, I know where I use this. Damn it. I'm going to have to undo some of what we did. Because I can't inject this yet, or inject something into here to make it work yet, what I need to do is have the layout back inside of the Maui application. So everything we did for the first 30 minutes, I have to undo in order to get this working. Now, since I couldn't get it working completely, that's not the worst thing in the world, but yes. I should have thought this through just a little bit better. Never met anyone who gets it right first time except Jimmy, but Jimmy cheats. Jimmy does indeed cheat, but he cheats so wonderfully. Can't you keep it around? Can I keep what around? Hello, Jimmy. You cheat, but you're awesome. We admire the way you cheat. We're not worthy. The good old refactor. Rip it out, start again with a new. Yeah, absolutely. 100%. This is the main thing is because I need this login and log out to be able to work with the Auth0. I can't inject the actual thing I need. I can't just inject the Auth0 thing here, or have some. Oh, my brain is really dying. I can't have an interface I can inject here and so put it inside of the shared folder because it works really quite different between what we're going to be doing for the static web app and what we're doing for Maui. And it works differently inside of this state provider. You see, this state provider uses things out of, or this login and log out uses functions from the state provider. So it needs to be inside of this file. Why not set an interface on this? I don't put an interface on it because we need to inherit from this. And it was annoying me when I was playing with it. And create an interface for accessing it. Yeah, you'd think, wouldn't you? I'm going to have a play with that. I'm not going to do that today, but I'm going to have a play with that. Yeah, authentication. Yeah. Should you trust anybody who says, trust me, I'm an expert? We need a poll function inside of streams. And we answer that question. Right. I'm going to undo the changes, and I could keep the changes or whatever, but to be honest, they're so simple, I don't care. We managed to get that working fast enough. So let's just undo the changes for the layout. And then let's see whether or not we have a working authentication. What? No, there's not. What? I undid that. I didn't undo that. So that means that one we're going to have to manually change this one back. So that then should be login.maui.config components.layout. Yeah. I now remember why I didn't call it login when I did it originally. I'm looking at the other code thinking, why did I call it that name? Now I know why I called it that name. So let's log in. Maui login. I'm still missing something somewhere, aren't I? Yeah, thank you. This would be the one you were talking about, wouldn't it, Tyndall? What do you mean you can't find authentication state provider? I have it in my imports. Don't I? Components authorization. Blazor test malware security. That would work. What do you mean? Oh, an auth. Idiot me. I'm thinking it's this one. It's not. It's this one. Oh, come on. My Visual Studio. Oh, no, dude. Oh, no. So that's at using Blazor test dot maui dot security. I think my Visual Studio's just flipped its lid because I'm suddenly not getting any code completion. Anyway, we have. I didn't put it on the screen after all that. Oh, I'm an idiot. So here we want Maui login. Do I not have components in my using? Blazor test Maui components. Half the time it works every time. Absolutely. It should have content. It should have this content. Maui login.razor. You mean the tag? It doesn't need content. That should be enough. Oh, we've lost nav menu too. How have we lost nav? What? It is complaining about nav menu too, and I don't know why. If at first you don't succeed, clean and rebuild. Ow. If at first you don't succeed, headbutt the microphone with your headphones, because that doesn't deafen you at all. Seriously? Okay, so apparently it just needed cleaning. Ha ha ha. Now on my other page, we have something that I can't bring across yet because it's opened at near 4K resolution. So we now have our login, and now when we click that, we get an error. This threw me for a while because I couldn't find the instructions I needed in the tutorials I was following in order to try and make this work. So if we do F12, we get the dev tools for Maui. And we get that the redirection was not detected. That's interesting. I've forgotten something else then. This is a different thing that I've done wrong. Activate a chat redirection. Where did I do that? Let's copy that and have a look in the old code. See, this is why I prepared it this week, because I knew I was going to go wrong. And nowhere. Okay. Let's scare ourselves, shall we? Well, it's nice to know that redirection, even though you search for it, isn't coming up here. Why is that not in my old code? It really should be. Yeah, I think that's where it needs to be. Oh, idiot me. I remember where it is. And when you are doing something that has to be platform specific, we should have in this app.xaml, we need to add something. What do we need to add? We need to add literally the line of code that we were just looking at. Now we should get a different error. Yeah, I love Maui. I love the fact that I can write one thing and it runs everywhere reasonably simply. I hate the fact that it's not quite as simply as it could be. Now when we log in, we should get an error, and hopefully that's going to be a different error. There we go. My app scheme is not declared in manifest XML. Now I wanted to show this error because it drove me absolutely up the wall. But I also wanted to show it because this error is the reason why we're only looking, at Windows today. What we have to do is in our package app manifest, we need to view the code. View code. Hello. Thank you. And we need to add that callback that we had in the main program, my app. It doesn't recognize my app. It's saying that, okay, what am I supposed to be doing here? So what we need to do is add that, and this took me an age to track down correctly, because most of the things I found online told you how to add the authentication, but didn't tell you how to actually get it working for a particular platform. So we need to add this extension in here that says, hey, we have a Windows protocol called My App, and we're going to give it a display name of My App because naming is hard. Now, if I've done everything right, oh, this is interesting. Am I about to embarrass myself when I'm out of time? I have another meeting coming up, so I've got to stop streaming on time today. When we log in, I can sign in with Auth0. I'm going to sign in with Google. And it's not going to go back to my application. Damn you. Oh, I have 2 apps that are using this. I should really do this right. And now we're logged in. Hello, Stacey Cashmore. We actually have stuff from our authentication. And then when we log out, it's going to go back to Auth0. I can log out on another screen and it comes in. So I actually managed to get done what I wanted to get done today. That's really cool. There's still some more cleanup to do, and I'm going to figure out, I'm not going to do it off screen like I said. I might rename it off screen, but I'm going to come back and we'll clean this up on screen and figure out what we're going to do with it. Except for what is going on. This was, yeah. I think the thing, once you know how to do it, it is annoyingly easy. Finding that stuff out, first of all, was a bit of a nightmare. Does that mean that your phone, etc., now supports AppPure is like my app thingy? I don't know. I'm going to be totally honest there. I don't know. That's what I've got to find out before the next stream, because the next stream I'm going to have an Android emulator set up on this machine, and we're going to get authentication working in Android. I'm going to skip the Blazor web app for now because I think that should hopefully be a simpler thing to do. But I don't know. I will find out. And then hopefully I will pass on that knowledge in a chaotic, strange way and hope that you can get something out of it. So yeah, we'll come back to that. What I can tell you is that it's not the same. You need a different thing in the app manifest, as far as I can see, to get this working inside of Android. And then, of course, you've got to do it for iOS, for Catalyst, for the other thing. I think your app can register a prefix when it is. It can register a prefix when it installs, but you've got to know how to set the protocol in the app manifests. And I'm not sure it's the same. So we'll set that one off. Right. I hope that that's been fun. I hope it's been useful. I've really enjoyed myself, even with everything going wrong as it did there. I'm going to make a bit of a plan next time. I'm going to have to come up with some kind of thing to keep me focused when I'm going. Once we set up the authentication, I thought what I could do with this, to do apps have become kind of ubiquitous use case for demos. And I thought that this would be a nice thing to build into some kind of to-do app that can work on Maui in the browser, and yeah, just use it that way. That gives us reasons to access all of the front and back end stuff. So I think I'm going to turn this into that type of app. If you've got a different idea, yeah, drop me a line on Twitter or Blue Sky or LinkedIn, because I'm quite happy to try and build something else That's just the only thing that's coming into my head right now. Okay, I am going to go and get ready for my meeting. Thank you all so much for build your backend. I'm not sure what your backend needs to be, and I'm not sure that that is a safe for work statement. Yes, absolutely. You can add the WASM modules on all platforms. That's it's not actually WASM. It is native to the platform that you're building on. It just builds it via a web view based on your Blazor things. So let's go to Twitch for this. Yeah, so that's what we're going to be doing. Yeah, thank you all for joining me. I'm going to be back in 2 weeks' time. I'm going to stick with the 2 weeks for now. I am getting slightly more energy. As I said, I want to go to weekly eventually, but I'm going to not go too fast too soon. I'm going to see how I cope with this first. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you. And until next time. Bye-bye.